Hi, I'm Dick Rauscher, writer, editor of the Stony Hill Nugget newsletter and life coach. There's an old saying that says, when we look out at the world, we see what we expect to see. We see what we believe we're going to see, and then we essentially dismiss or ignore the rest as being somehow unimportant. We're now beginning to recognize and to understand how true that old saying really is. We're discovering that the brain is actually hardwired for survival. The instinct to see threat and danger, not gratitude and happiness. That means that our ego is hardwired to see things that are bad, things that are threatening in any way to our ego's sense of survival. Essentially, that would include just about anything that would make our ego anxious or worried, okay? Our attraction, for example, to bad news in the media is wired into our DNA. The bigger the crisis, the bigger the threat, the more horrific the event, the more we find ourselves fascinated, intrigued with the story. It's as if we're addicted to adrenaline, that adrenaline rush that comes with the negative emotions embedded in the story. And even more amazing, the news that feels like a threat to our self-identity, or any news, for example, that challenges our beliefs or worldviews, is often emotionally just as dangerous to our ego as threats to our actual physical well-being. In other words, threats stick in our brain like Velcro. The minute our brain picks up a negative, it immediately connects it. It's Velcroed right onto our forehead. Things that would make us happy, on the other hand, or grateful, are kind of treated as if they're coated with Teflon. They're not only invisible to our ego, even if they are, they tend to slide out of our brains almost immediately. Stated very simply now, our ego is not interested in gratitude. To bring the light of our consciousness into the shadows of our unconscious mind, to shine that light of consciousness onto the dark nature of our mind, that part of us that's addicted to fear and to bad things in the world, we're going to need the intentional and conscious self-awareness of our more evolved and enlightened observing ego. When we intentionally focus our attention on gratitude, science is showing us that what we're literally doing is we're in the process of rewiring our brain to more easily take in gratitude. In other words, the more we see gratitude, the more we pay attention to the happy things and the things that we're grateful for, the more our brain actually begins to see it, to look for it. In other words, it becomes more Velcro-y, if you will. Because of the way our brain is hardwired, we pay attention and we take in the bad almost immediately. But we need an estimated 20 to 30 times as long to take in and digest, in other words, to breathe in the good. And that's, of course, assuming we even see it. So when you first begin working with gratitude, you have to slow down. You have to breathe it in. You have to let it get into your consciousness. So the more time you can take to breathe that in and really pay attention to it, the more that you're going to be rewiring your brain. The spiritual practice of intentional gratitude allows us to move beyond the agitation of our incessantly thinking mind, our mind that's always thinking about something, always feeling something, one emotion right after the other. As soon as we begin to practice gratitude, we begin to see more deeply into the amazing reality of the world around us. It opens our heart and it allows us to embrace the awe and the joy, the amazement of simply being alive. At those moments of intentional gratitude, as they increase and slowly rewire our brain for happiness, it will change what you see in your world. If you'd like to read a little bit more on this subject, click on the link below